Groceries, you're seeing inflation everywhere, right? And drought conditions in parts of the South not helping. Low water levels on the Mississippi River keeping cargo barges at a standstill.
Our national correspondent Justin Michaels visited some of the hardest hit areas, joins us now. Justin, that economic impact is going to stretch really coast to coast, so it's not limited to the river.
No, you think the Mississippi River is kind of in the center to the maybe a little eastern part of our country, but what it is kind of the major and main economic artery for almost everything that we ship domestically and internationally. And in fact, the economist we spoke to for this story said that 75% of our nation's economy is based off the Mississippi River. Barges sit idle on the historically low Mississippi River. The water isn't deep enough, and they risk running aground like this one in Osceola, Arkansas, stopping all of those from moving. So what does this have to do with you? A lot.
How do you manage supply that's low? You get higher prices.
Ken Erickson is an expert on the finances of America's biggest, most efficient way to move goods, the mighty Mississippi.
Whether it's grains, corn, soybeans, soybean meal, but then you've got steel, you've got chemicals, and you've got energy products such as diesel or gasoline, ethanol, but coal.
Quickly approaching, winter travel may be impacted. De-icer used on planes and salt used on roads all move on this river.
When you have snow and ice, that's very important. So for the average consumer, that's the part that gets to be important for them every day.
Our crop mix is more than likely going to change if things keep going the way they are.
Arkansas farmer Jacob Appleberry depends on the Mississippi for every crop he grows, and most stay domestic. Household staples like rice, wheat, soybeans, and cotton.
If we don't do what we do, it doesn't get passed on down the line to get what everybody needs in their hometown, whatever that is, whether it's in New York or another small town right down the road.
This river is 75% of America's economy and economic build to this point.
Third-generation Mississippi barge company owner Austin Golding explains the Army Corps of Engineers continues dredging, working daily to keep commerce moving.
There's about 4 or 5 spots that are so narrow, it's extremely restricted to even a 25 barge tow.
At those narrow points on the Mississippi, water levels continue to drop. Where dredging is happening, commerce comes to a complete standstill, and every moment these barges sit here, it gets pricey.
Our whole game is scale of economy and scale of efficiency. Once you start taking efficiency and economies off, by meaning less barges and less cargo, the cost of our services go through the roof.
And if it costs more for Jacob to move his grains up the Mississippi, it will eventually cost more for you at the store.
If it keeps going like it is now, we're going to have to find other places to deliver grain, or we're going to have to come up with new ways to store our grain or produce less grain.
Talking about a system that connects everything from the upper reaches of Pennsylvania all the way out to Oklahoma, into the Great Lakes, all the way to Texas, all the way to Florida, and through the Gulf of Mexico. Massive, massive economic impact.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that stands out in that piece is just how huge those barges are. You know, you kind of don't realize looking from far away.
Because the river is narrowing and getting more shallow, they're limiting the number of barges that can be pushed. So those the boats on the back that push it. What you need to understand about the size of those, Alex and Mike, is the fact that one barge is equal to 70 semi-trucks full of goods, or 16 cars on a train. If you multiply that by a barge flotilla that's 25 barges, that's 1,750 semis and 400 rail cars. Amazing how much goes through that river.